Ooh, what's up? Let's put myself in full screen for a second. What's up? What's up? What's up? Another one of those days. War is going on, and even here in uh, even here in Ireland, we're starting to feel that. There were already people like stockpiling on fuel and other things today. Groceries and, of course, toilet paper and literally just the usual suspects when there's like a risk of something big happening. There were people already prepping like the world is ending, which is understandable. We already saw a bit of a spike in fuel prices. And when fuel prices increase, we know that the grocery prices are going to increase. So it's going to affect everything. So I'm going to sound like a broken clock, but not a broken clock. But still, I'm going to sound like a bit of a negative Nancy here, but I've been telling this a long time. Whatever Dementia Donald is doing is affecting globally. So it's not just a US issue, it's a global issue. And that's something that Americans need to fucking start realizing quite soon. Otherwise, there's not going to be end to this.
Donald Trump is recently me. I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. I'm in Miami. You see this hat? Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this hat? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over.
So, even before the war in Iran is closed, they're already warmongering to go to Cuba. So they have their next site set up already. And now they're at the moment, of course, pumping their chests that we already won the war in Iran, even though it's not even over yet. They're already planning that Cuba is next. Of course, everybody knew that they're going to go to Cuba next. And after Cuba, it's probably going to be Mexico. And I'm not too, like, I'm pretty sure they're going to go to Greenland after that. I hope that Father Time is faster. I do hope so. Oh, please, blood cloth, make your move. That little blood cloth just needs to make its way forwards. Mexico doesn't pretend it's about cartels, exactly. Cuba because communism, Greenland because of, Russia and China. Yeah, these are not anything new.
And we're going to win. All Israel right, and the United States, you just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people. This regime is in a death row now. It is going to be on its knees. It's going to fall. And when it falls, we're going to have peace like no other time. We're going to have prosperity unlike anyone could ever imagine. Peace brings prosperity.
This is Lindsey Graham speaking. And Lindsey Graham, of course, is being Netanyahu's number one warmonger in US politics. Also, the devil whispering on Trump's shoulder, if you believe in the devil. But I just think he's the little man behind Trump, just whispering what their big boss in Israel told them to do. Lindsey Graham is number one, like the number one warmonger in the United States. And he's been advocating for Trump to attack Iran for a long time. And he's also the number one advocate for attacking anybody who they deem fit.
get your take on all this. $1 billion a day. Oil prices up 27% in a week. You've got the president wanting a $1.5 trillion defense budget in 27. The idea that the Pentagon is about to come to you for $50 billion on these strikes to Iran. How are you going to answer?
Best money ever spent. Was it worth to America to take down a religious Nazi regime who's trying to build a nuclear weapon to deliver to America? That's a really good investment.
That is some fucking delusion that Lindsey Graham is living. I thought that Trump destroyed their nuclear weapons facilities last summer. But of course we know that either that was a lie or this war is a lie. It could be both. That's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is the anything internal when it comes to the United States. He's the warmonger inside of United States borders. Lindsey Graham is the warmonger outside of the United States borders. So Stephen Miller wants to create war inside the division, us versus them, inside the United States. He's the Joseph Goebbels of the Trump admin. Lindsey Graham is Ribbentrop, technically. Those who don't know German history, but yeah, Lindsey Graham would be the Ribbentrop, and Stephen Miller would be Joseph Goebbels. I started thinking what you said about Russia and the US working together. The thought scares me more and more. I mean, yes, we had a long conversation yesterday with my daughter when we were walking back from the punk concert we were in. I'm quite proud, of my daughter. With all of his friends, she's hanging around, and the crowd that was there. There was a lot of pro-Palestine flags there, and also anti-fascist flags as well. And of course, who wouldn't want to be against fascism? So, who is Göring? Wouldn't that be Hexet then? Shit, forgot about Grandpa's safe in the attic. So, the oil prices are now 27% up. Trump wants more on the defense budget. Pentagon wants an extra $50 billion for these strikes. And Lindsey Graham says that it's money well spent. This is only the start of gas price rising. Prediction markets are expecting the prices to go up at least another 60 cents before the end of this month. I think we're gonna see the biggest spike early next week. How was the concert? The concert was lit. I do enjoy listening to local bands playing, and especially there was a few newer bands that were having their first gigs, so kinda enjoyed that as well. Because I'm a former musician myself and used to play in a band myself and did those gigs, so highly enjoy the youth expressing their artistic freedom and their artistic views through music. I'm 100% on that. I think one of the songs were singing actually something about the media disinformation, but I'm not sure because the music was so loud and I'm so fucking old. So because it was a really small place that was in, and I have to say that it's punk, so everything's super loud. Mosh pit is for all ages. Unfortunately, there were no mosh pits. I would have been in, I've been in a few mosh pits in my lifetime. I have to say that. You don't come out from mosh pits without some bruises and maybe even a missing tooth or black eye. Depends on the band. Trump says gas prices are just a momentary glitch. I mean, nah. Literally, while we were in the concert yesterday, I was reading that Israel bombed those 5 oil sites in Iran, and I was just thinking how fucking stupid is that? Gas prices go up, more electric cars. Johannes Harlev, I actually had a conversation with that because my daughter said that thank God we have an electric car, but unfortunately, it's not going to do much when everything else is expensive. So if oil prices, if the barrel of oil goes, let's say, to $120 per barrel, yeah, electric cars are going to be good for like if we need to travel, but everything, the cost of living is going up on everything. So yes, we will save money on one thing, but everything else is going to be fucking expensive. Are you finished? No, I just started literally 12 minutes ago. It's not oil. It's oil. Anyone, at this point, it is fucking oil. Come on. Why are certain arsenal in areas? Because the enemy's old map showed swamp. Hello all, what up, Matty? It's about oil.
They're gonna fall. It's not.
I meant finish. No, I just started. 13 minutes ago now. 13 minutes ago I just started. I know what you meant. I know what you meant. I am finished, yeah. Electric cars have higher insurance and tire costs. They don't actually have higher insurance, at least here in Ireland. Sure would take decades to replace the trucking shipping system with electric 100%. So do we expand oil and gas drilling in the Arctic and northern parts of Europe? I mean, we're kind of behind on that schedule. You know, it's not a snap of a finger. Do people still love me? I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about that, Adolf Hitler. Hello from Croatia. It's funny anymore. Monty Python is real documentary comparing to America. Especially gas for trucks will jump very high. Yeah, the diesel prices went high, like jump even higher than the gas prices. Jules, thanks for the follow. Should we have more intelligence in the 19th century? JP, thanks for the follow. Stephen Miller does love that dude. That is true. Yeah, like Adolf Hitler, you have one friend, and it's Stephen Miller. Even though I do think that Stephen Miller likes Joseph Goebbels more because he's been plagiarizing Joseph Goebbels' talking points from the 1928 paper that Joseph Goebbels wrote. Talking about absolute power and talking about those who wield strength to decide what is justice and also what is the world order. Those are talking points from Joseph Goebbels on 1928. Chinese satellite have detected the presence of the USS Abraham near the mouth strait of Hormuz, probably. At least Ekeroline just installed a semi-electric engine system when docked on January. What would you do? Better not tell your opponent. What would I do? What would I do? If I was the president... Are you asking what would I do if I was the president of the United States? RageBait, thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, 30,000 deaths were just a cover-up. Why didn't they care about all the suffering and killing of Ayatollah's regime previously? Why didn't Trump do anything in 2016 to 2020? Why didn't the previous presidents do anything? Do you care, Rock Kickler, do you care about the 70,000 Palestinians killed? Which 30,000 plus of them are women and children. Do you care about those? We will save the planet in the EU. It's not India or China doing the polluting. About oil, in Tuesday, diesel goes 20 cents up in Croatia, but never mind, I always fill it for 50. Yes, what will you do if you were the US president? If I was the US president, I would instantly register AIPAC as a foreign interest lobby. That would destroy Israel's power in US politics. And then I would say to Israel, like, good luck with that. It's not of like, if I was the president of the United States, I would just instantly pull everything out of the Middle East. I would also contact Putin and Xi Jinping and Modi and all the nuclear powers of the world to sit down and talk about a plan to get rid of all the nuclear weapons. That would be one of my first things after I pull out of the Middle East. I would sit down with all the world leaders and tell them that, hey, no one of us should own any nuclear weapons. How can we get rid of every single nuclear weapon? what sort of a deal do we need to do to get rid of every single nuclear weapon in the world and not to make them in the future? Also, making the world love the United States instead of screaming death to America. I wouldn't start new wars. I wouldn't bomb countries. I would just because if you think about it, Iran isn't screaming death to Ireland. Iran isn't screaming death to Finland. They are not even screaming death to Russia or death to China. They are screaming death to America. Why is that? If you make yourself an enemy around the world, they will treat you as an enemy. But that would only be if I was the president of the United States. And of course, I'm not the president of the United States. But that would be my, pull out from the Middle East, start making real fucking deals, for example, with Iran, because they have a lot of oil. I would actually, propose to put a significant amount of, effort to make the people there more prosperous and also, to make a better deal. I wouldn't put boots on the ground. I wouldn't attack anyone. Then I would sit down with the world leaders to talk about how to get rid of the nuclear weapons. So what do you think of the land attack from USA? It's not happened yet, but it's gonna happen. I disagree. I think we all need some nuclear weapons. No, you don't. No, what the fuck? That should be the easiest, slam dunk. Oh, that's not a slam dunk. Easiest 3-point ever. No one should have nuclear weapons. In my town in Finland, diesel is 1.9 euros per liter and gasoline is 1.88 per liter. No one should have the means to destroy the whole fucking civilization. They're not non-stop aggression is what causes the escalation forever. 100%. And there's only one country who has dropped a nuke. And all civilians. One country. Twice. Not even weapons of any kind. I do think so as well. Fucking have everybody just use their fists. San Diego Zoo unofficial, thanks for the follow. Chevron stock up. Is it? No, I wouldn't call it up though. It was 192 at the start of the day. And it's sitting at 189 at the moment. So it's actually not up. But if we expand that to well, it's not even, if you take a 5-day period of time, it's not up. 1 month, yeah. But 6 month, it is quite a lot up. True, but you'll never get Iran and North Korea to agree to give up their nukes. Turi, I have a message for you. Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. That's the whole fucking reason why Israel and United States attacked Iran. Because they don't have nuclear weapons. Israel does. And furthermore, if we trust what Trump says, Operation Midnight Hammer should have destroyed their nuclear capabilities. But we know Trump lies quite a lot, so maybe the mission Midnight Hammer wasn't a success. If so, then North Korea never is going to. That's why every single would be sitting on the same table. Because the only reason why North Korea built nuclear weapons was because the surrounding countries and the countries that threatened them had nuclear weapons. Have you heard there's already named for Finnish nuclear weapon? Väinämöinen 1. Really? Really? Our old caveman brains keep thinking the biggest weapon only serves the ones who have them. If Iran had nuke, it could have fired it on the attack from US. All companies is in no hurry to move oil through Strait of Hormuz. How are you going to enforce the nuclear weapons? If I was to, like, that's why diplomacy is like the way to go. If I sit down every single fucking country in the world, like Xi Jinping, Putin, Pakistan's president, Modi from India, even Netanyahu, even though that would maybe be one of my duties as the president of the United States, I would probably overthrow Netanyahu. I don't need a warmonger there. Kim Jong-un, Keir Starmer, Macron, all of the leaders would sit down and we would make a plan how to get rid of them. Sweden doesn't have nukes, but Sweden is looking into like changing their laws to harbor nukes as well. Our country won't even admit they have nukes. They don't have nukes. The easiest way to know if a country has nukes, if a country with nukes is attacking them. The problem is some countries are run by dictators and have different ideologies, so never agree. I mean, again, have we tried? Not really. We are always trying to force them to do something without like properly having a sit down where everybody agrees. You're always trying, like throughout history, we try to bully our ways through. What if we try a different approach? This comes back down to the point that I've been making for a few streams now, that I think that every single leader of the world, like every single leader of countries, should be women. The world would be such a more fucking peaceful place if women led the world. And the only reason why people would object to that is because of their personal biased opinions of something that they don't even know that would happen. Somebody said on YouTube that women are too emotional. Well, you have Trump at the moment, so I would argue that Trump is way more emotional than any woman. Trump is way more emotional than any woman is. Objectively, Merkel wasn't a good politician, though she's a woman. That is true. What I'm meaning of the superpowers, like Russia, China, USA. Women would be better. Widely accepted country estimates stockpile of action. That, like, you're talking about Iran, right? Iran doesn't have nukes. You don't know how men think. We have history books. We know how men think. Oil markets are closed on weekends. That's why the price hasn't changed in the past 2 days. I know. 5 p.m. oil markets open today. No. LM. Not saying that if it's like, of course, they're horrible women as well. Case in point, the Iron Lady from Britain. Margaret Thatcher. Not a good leader. Like, Margaret Thatcher is technically thinking like a man. But it is more likely that a woman leader is not going to start a new fucking war than a man. Because we have history and we can see what men have done for centuries and fucking... Kamala Harris would have probably... Okay, LM, we need to differentiate because United States at the moment is so heavily lobbied by foreign interest groups and also internal interest groups. So it is super lobbied. So I think that if Kamala was the president, we would still be in war in Iran. Because Kamala and the Democratic Party has the same fucking lobbyist groups than the GOP and MAGA. You must play guitar, man. I do play guitar. Red and blue work together. They accept money from the same sources. That's why the two-party system in the United States is such a fucking hoax.
If the regime falls, it's a matter of when. And you didn't mention today, and nobody has, quite frankly, we now know they had enough 60% enriched uranium to make 11 bombs. What's that worth to America to make sure they don't have 11 bombs? All of this money is to make sure they never go nuclear. They can't.
No, because Kamala is isn't it an Indian name? So it's actually pronounced Kamala. I have quite a few Indian friends that pronounce it like that. Yeah, that LM, exactly. That's what I said. I'm pretty sure that, like, at least my Indian friends, that's Kamala. Should all read about New Zealand ex-prime minister. She wrote a book about ruling with empathy.
With ballistic missiles, and they stop terrorizing the region. When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money.
There's no H in Kamala.
Nobody will threaten the Straits of Hormuz again. But Donald J. Trump saved the world from real chaos.
Donald J. Trump saved the world from chaos. I read from a really influential MAGA influencer that Trump starting a war with Iran is in line with Trump promising no new wars, because Trump started the war in Iran to end any new wars after Iran. That's the best fucking twisting of the situation that I've ever seen. Trump starting the war in Iran is to stop any new wars after it. Like, I applaud all the MAGA influencers that they need to jump through those hoops. The newest escalation is Israel hitting Iran oil infrastructure. Yeah, they hit it started hitting them yesterday already. That's why there's like black clouds in Tehran and there's been like oil raining down. Would you allow Iran to have nuclear weapons? Yeah, I would. I would in the current situation that it is. I am in favor of nobody having nuclear weapons, but that is utopia. And we'll live in the reality where there are countries with nuclear weapons. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone has the right to tell any country that they can't have nuclear weapons. You know, if we want to be consistent, who is the arbiter of that? In my opinion, nobody should have nuclear weapons. That would be my ideal situation. That would be my ideal situation. But as of now, when we live in this reality, the best protection against superpowers is nuclear weapons. And of course, superpowers don't want smaller countries to have nuclear weapons because they want to have the opportunity to invade them or steal their natural resources. Maybe we need to give the peace prize to Donald Trump if he don't start the World War III. I mean, nah. The war to end all wars. Heard that one before. Yeah, exactly. Let's see if Iran attacks oil fields and installations around them. Sanction option. Yeah, Iran got us threatened about like striking this one.
ביחס למה שנעשה בהמשך באיראן, יש לנו תוכנית סדורה עם הרבה הפתעות. לערער את המשטר, לאפשר שינוי. יש לנו עוד הרבה מטרות, ולא אפרט אותן כאן. אבל לפעילי משמרות המהפכה, אלה שרודים בעם האיראני ברחובות, אומר לכם רק זאת. גם אתם על הכוונת. מי שיניח את נשקו, לא יאונה לו כל רע.
Tuti, thanks for the
מי
follow.
שלא יעשה זאת, דמו בראשו. ולעם האיראני אני אומר, אני מדבר איתכם ועבורכם כבר עשרות שנים. רגע האמת מתקרב, כי איננו מבקשים לחלק את איראן. אנחנו מבקשים לשחרר את איראן, לשחרר אותה מעול העריצות.
Iran is toast, no air force, no navy, just a matter of time. Oh, we'll see. Israel is now threatening with bigger consequences for Iran. You guys were all silent when 30k of us persons were murdered for protesting in January. You might want to, Real Waffle, go to my profile and see videos about Iran protest. And a lot of people who are in the chat know that I've been on the side of Iranian protesting on the evil regime. So Real Waffle, you don't really have any like weight to that statement that you have there. Are you, Real Waffle, are you one of those that have just recently woken up to the Iranians having a bad regime and mistreating them? Because that's been happening since 1979. And I hope, Real Waffle, you have the same energy. Okay, you're a person. You have the same energy, of course, for the Palestinians, right? 70,000 civilians killed by the Israeli IDF. Also 30,000 plus only women and children. You do have that same mentality for your Palestinian fellow brothers and sisters and children, right? Let's see you trying to whistle out. Because a lot of people who come to my chat and call my chatters and me on like not talking about 30,000 Iranians, which is complete bullshit because we've been talking about it, all of a sudden turns around and says it's not the same thing. Hey, Real Waffle, where did you disappear? You also condemn Israel killing civilians in Palestine, right? Wait a second. Oh, you said you do. I didn't see that. Sorry. Good. Then we're on the same boat, Real Waffle, you and me. I'm all for the Iranian people toppling their evil regime. I don't want outside interference, internal meddling, you know? Because Trump has stated many times that Pahlavi is not coming back. Trump doesn't think Pahlavi is a good leader, so Pahlavi is not coming back. Trump also said that the next leader of Iran is going to be somebody selected by United States and Israel. Real Waffle, you might want to expand your view because there was a lot of revolutions last year alone that pushed governments out of their power. Just like Venezuela, just like in Venezuela. What would you do with... You don't like... There's so many messages at the moment. Your views are purposely dense. Okay. Why? What's the topic? Iran again. I don't agree. I think it's all about deflection. The IR military is a lot more ruthless than people think. No. Iranians are willing to kill... The Iranian military is willing to kill civilians to get means to an end and also to oppress their people. 100%. Like, that's been documented for a long, long fucking time. That's been documented for decades. And that's why it creates such a horrible situation in this war, because we have 3 countries at the moment that are willing to kill civilians, willing to use propaganda, and willing to lie. So what is true? You offer no solution, only feelings that are not aligned with logic. That is not, like Lewis, that statement is actually not logical at all. Well, new Ayatollah is chosen and he's still alive for now. Israel promised to kill every single Ayatollah, every single supreme leader that is selected. Netanyahu also said that. So somebody asked me, what would I do for Jews in Israel, they could stay there. But let's not pretend that the IDF and the government of Israel is really doing favors for the citizens of Israel. They're actually putting themselves in harm's way. So every single, are you for Israel? Fuck no. No. I'm for Israeli people, but I'm not for the government. I can't stand and watch while the government kills civilians and women and children. I have morals. I can't be in favor of a government that is willingly killing, saying that there's no innocent in Palestine, there's no innocence in Gaza, comparing them to cockroaches and animals, saying that they're mowing the lawn like they're just grass. I don't have any understanding for a government like that. Still, nothing against the citizens of Israel and nothing against the major religion on that area, because I don't give a fuck about religion. Israel does target civilians, so fuck you. Israel has killed more journalists since the Second World War than any other. Louis, I'm sorry, but like the government of Israel, ministers and fucking leaders of Israel have said themselves, there's no innocence in Gaza. They don't give fuck about civilians. There's multiple videos of IDF soldiers say that they will kill each and every one of the fucking civilians, Palestinians, until they're gone. And the leaders of Palestine, Hamas leaders, should definitely face crimes against humanity. Luis, this is gonna wreck your life, but I don't think Hamas is a good thing. I think Hamas, Netanyahu, and the leaders of Israel should all put to trial for crimes against humanity and war crimes, and they should be sentenced. That's it. Where's your proof? What proof? Like about Iranians killing civilians and Iranians killing journalists. IDF is a good source of proof of that, and they have accepted that about 70,000 plus civilians have died. That's from the IDF themselves. Dehumanization is beginning of genocide. We saw that in Poland, 100%. And that is exactly the way you completely justify it for yourself, that you're killing 10-day-old babies, you're killing children, you're destroying all of the infrastructure, you're starving them, you're stripping them of electricity and water. The only way you can justify what for yourself and your citizens is if you dehumanize them, make it so that they're subhuman. The same fucking thing that Nazis did. Sorry for bringing that up, but that is exactly what they did. I know that's a really hot topic to compare that, but that dehumanizing talk and then continuing to, well, continue with the genocide. I know that's a super hot topic to say. I don't care. Too much is too much. Do you think new generation is not that into wars, or in future there will be lesser wars? I don't know. If we continue to bomb and create misery, there's going to be more resentment. I hope that the new generation, the youth, is less eager to go to war, send their fellow citizens to war, and see death. I do hope so. Iran will not surrender, Parliament Speaker Wows. How do you think the war could be de-escalated? Iran war. Ceasefire and sitting down. They were having the negotiations about the nuclear weapons. Even the Oman negotiator said that Iran was accepting not to pursue nuclear weapons. That was literally the day before Israel and United States attacked Iran. So they were having success on the negotiations, even though Trump said that he wasn't happy about the negotiations. That's because they extended the goalpost to include ballistic missiles and other missiles. Originally, they just wanted to guarantee that they will not have nuclear weapons, but then when Iran was going to guarantee that, or at least agree to that, they extended the goalpost to include any fucking mid or long range missile. The Iran war won't, because Trump won't talk to Iran. That is true. There won't be, these idiots will fight it out because of Netanyahu and Donald J. Trump. Meant as a compliment, by the way. Ever heard of someone compare you to Nico McBrain? Nico McBrain, you mean the most beautiful member of Iron Maiden. That's from Nico himself. I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan, so of course I know Nico McBrain. War's just like forest fires. Sometimes there has to be a cleansing. Oh, come on. Goal, control of Iranian oil resources. Yeah, it's gonna be, it's all about oil. Shawnee, thanks for the follow. They said okay to everything, but not the regime change. And that's the thing. As I've stated many times, Iranians are celebrating now, but once they understand that their future is on the hands of United States and Israel, they're gonna realize the same thing that everybody else in that fucking area realized, like in Libya, Syria, and Iraq, that we got fucked. We got played. We were promised freedom, and we're just a colony. We don't have independence. Ever heard of Russia? Shit is on its way, Iran, Israel. Even Trump didn't care about Russia giving Iran intel of US military positions and also aiding Iran, because Trump loves Putin. We had a discussion about this yesterday. Why is all of a sudden Trump is so fucking okay with Putin putting US soldiers on the risk of being killed by providing intel to Iran and also lifting sanctions to Russia when it comes to like buying oil from India? That is something that a lot of people should be asking. Like, why is Trump okay with this? What is that? And I played with the idea. I did yesterday something that I don't usually do, which is speculate. I speculated that there might be a brown handshake between the Mango Mussolini and Putin. Like ousting China. Because China is moving closer and closer away from fossil fuels. And Russia is depending on fossil fuels still. And USA is doing its all to harbor as much oil as possible. Because yesterday, of course, we also talked about the number one heavy crude oil reserves in the world, which is Venezuela is number one, owned by USA now. Saudi Arabia is number two. Well, Saudi Arabia and Trump family are really close friends. Iran is number three. So if US gets hand on Iranian oil, like the White House said yesterday that they want Iranian oil, they would have number one, number two, and number three. So then, it could be that Trump takes his hemisphere, Russia takes his hemisphere. We don't know. We don't really know who was the puppet master still. NATO is going to collapse, mark my words. Iran is trying to make America go against NATO. One thing I'm going to ask all of you guys, like, what do you think young Iranians, the next generation of Iranians, going to shout? Are they going to shout, yay, America saved us? Or are they going to remember that their fathers and sisters and brothers and mothers were killed by the Americans? What do you think? Latin America countries are great. Which side are you on? Humanity's side. Stop wars, stop killing. If all the world leaders would think the same way as me, that no human has the right to take another human's life, we would have a nice place to live. Try and argue against that. If all leaders of the world would think the same as me, that no human has the right to take another human's life, that would be a really nice world to live in. I live close to Iran, and I can tell what you young Iranians think. How are Americans going to host the World Cup? I know it's something to worry about. I mean, it's going to be dangerous to go there, though. Thank God I'm not American. Trump has corrupted them. You can't argue against... I mean, I was called poison because of my beliefs that I want no deaths, no wars. But then I was called poison by a Christian, which is ironic. Treat everyone the same. Value human life. Don't kill each other. And I was called poison by a Christian. That I am poisoning the youth's mind. They're against this regime, but they don't want the American boss either. They want to be just like West. No, he hasn't corrected us. Some of us have common sense. He needs to go. Trump is a pedophile. I mean, can't really argue with that. World boss President Vladimir Putin is not losing because he's cool. I wouldn't call President Putin cool. I have a lot of Russian friends, and I have to say that they're not too thrilled to see their friends and family members being sent to war without proper equipment and proper training just to die. But Russia is a bit of a different situation. Like, if you think Iran's regime is horrible when it comes to treating citizens, if you oppose Kremlin and Putin in Russia, you disappear. If there's thousands of you, then there's going to be thousands of disappearing. They don't even lose their sleep when it comes to making their citizens vanish. Replace PDF with MP4 on the DOJ website Epstein files to unredact the work on all photos and video files. What? It can't be that easy. Did you see the Black Rain? Unfortunately, I did, though. Unfortunately. Your research work is on point. I mean, if you want to make your day worse, go and look up independent news reporters in Russia for the past 20 years. Like, there's quite a few of them that have been critical of Kremlin and Putin, and those are no more. Where are you from? Finland. Black rain. There was oil raining in Iran, in Tehran, because Israel bombed those oil fields. There was actually like fire coming from underground, from the sewage, because of the oil fire. Can you tell us about the military hospital in Germany? I was actually trying to find things about that, because I read also about the military hospital in Germany, but there wasn't any like reliable sources that they are related to Iran. There was a lot of like pieces about like patients being turned back because they don't have any more room, and that's the main US military hospital in Central Europe. But there wasn't any like enough credible information about that, so I would say that that is 100% true. As long as you are safe and people are dying elsewhere, you are okay with it. No. A lot of you in the chat know that every time even just 1 or 2 people die, I raise that issue. Because no one deserves to die from the hands of another human being. No one. The only person that can take your life, or should be allowed to take your life, is of course time, because you can't really fight time. And yourself, because it is your life after all. You shouldn't be able to take anyone else's life, and nobody else should be able to take your life. How do you stop it from happening? In my lifetime, probably no way of doing that because, well, ignorance and greed. Humans are evil. We just need to educate the future generations that when we die, the future generations can teach their future generations, and maybe them can have that utopia. But our generation, us who are in the chat, we will never see that happen. Oil, are you slow? It's for Israel. No, it's oil. Then you have to be okay with it. No, I don't have to be okay with it. What the fuck? You mean brainwashing? No. What? Martin, what? If you call this brainwashing that no one should be allowed to take another person's life, that should be the default level we are all agreeing with. That is like literally the default line that we should start from. That shouldn't be like something to aim. We should already be there. It's 2026. Baseline, that's the yeah, thanks Christ the Redeemer. If you think about it, people like Elon Musk and J.D. Vance could solve world hunger, but they're greedy. Elon Musk could do so much good things around the world, but what do you... Okay, there's probably a few Elon Musk fanboys again throwing me death threats after this, but what Elon Musk is doing is again the same thing that is happening in politics. Dividing and then manipulating for his own benefits or whoever is his benefactors. Elon, instead of like trying to unite people, Elon Musk is spending majority of his time dividing people. That is the Lord of Savior of many people around the world who are, you know, fondling the balls of Elon Musk, hoping that some of those billions would trip to their direction. But the truth of the matter is, Elon Musk is dividing people. What is his goal? I don't fucking understand. Why would he do that? Well, of course, he gets traffic for his website, and also, like, I don't fucking know. He doesn't even need that. There's always going to be casualties in war since the beginning of time. Are you now calling this a war, Robbie? Are you calling Iran war a war? Are you going against Donald Trump because Donald Trump's admin is saying it's not a war, even though Donald Trump is saying it's a war? Pete Hegseth is saying it's a war. Mike Johnson says it's not a war. Caroline Lewitt said it's not a war. Marco Rubio said it's not a war. So is it a war or not? When someone finds out why billionaires whine and complain so much, let us know. Elon car sales crashed because Europeans don't like his opinions. Pete Hegseth said it was a war, I know. It's not a war, it's to lift oil prices permanently. It's a special operations. That again is something directly stolen from Vladimir Putin. Not saying that they're best friends, but calling it a special operation or targeted operation or precision operation or what the fuck they're calling it. I don't know, it's a war. I guess it depends on how much we do. That just proves that none of them know what's going on. Blowing up schools helps no one. Yeah. I mean, maybe they get kicks of it, you know? The minute you strike another country, that is an act of war. Chacha, us in the chat, we can agree on that. But of course, I understand why Trump's admin can't really admit that they went to war. Because if they make a declaration of war without Congress, that would be unlawful, of course. For the best of the world in time of peace, in the time of war. Why are you talking about a subject you have no idea about? Oh my god, yeah, true. That's a good point. I've never thought about it. Oh, please, Elmos, provide me all of the information that I just falsely claimed. Go for it. Waiting. What are the false claims that I made? Maybe I'll learn something from a smarter person than me. Trump lifted sanctions on Russia. That is true. I also talked about that one. Directly lifted sanctions from Russia to buy, India to buy oil from Russia. War crimes are such a joke. How many war crimes has Putin, Netanyahu, and Trump committed? Nothing done. Yeah, there should be like more consequences. 100%. Hey, no. Where did our Elmos? Where the hell did she disappear? I was waiting to learn something, Elmos. Come back. Trump for prison 2026. Okay, did you read about the holy war aspect? When did the White House go full religious cult? Perfect timing, Darren. Did you read about the holy war aspect of this war? Is that a Finnish accent or am I tripping? Depends how many mushrooms you've taken already. Trump has broken the Constitution over and over again. Yeah, like he probably wipes his ass up with the Constitution. He doesn't give a fuck about it. You mean the Holy War conspiracy? I mean, yeah. Conspiracy. Angle. Whatever you want to call it. I commented multiple times. I guess it's not showing up. You have commented 5 times. Why are you talking about subject you have no idea? How did you come to that conclusion? Lol, you have no idea what you're talking about. Oil, are you slow? It's for Israel. Oil, are you slow? It's for Israel. That is some really good insights. That is really good insights. Just because it's about oil doesn't exclude what Israel wants from this war. My God, have you not paid attention at all? Israel is the catalyst for the whole fucking thing. Trump wants oil. Israel wants Iran. Israel wants to control the region. Trump wants oil. That's it. We don't need oil. Yes, you do. Did you see Hexet talking about this new map bullshit? Create a North. Oh my God. What are your thoughts on military commanders saying so? Exactly. This is the holy war aspect. Not from Iran, we have plenty of it. Oh yeah, you stole oil from Venezuela already. So the number 3, like top 3 heavy crude oil reserves are Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. If United States take Iran, they then have Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, because Saudi Arabia and Trump are literally like scissoring each other. You know? So United States wouldn't control the oil. Trump would control the oil. So Trump would control Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. So if you don't think that they want that oil reserve, you are delusional. They do want that. What do Trump want from Cuba? Golf courses, probably. Trump doesn't really have a plan with anything. He does what his lobbyists are telling him. He took a lot of money from the oil companies during his election, so he has a lot of things to backpay from them. Darren, thanks for the follow. Trump will get nothing. He's a corrupt con man. He is a corrupt con man. Yeah. He's so corrupt that he's even pardoning corrupted fucking criminals. 80 of them. 80 of them in a year. He's so worried about fraud that he pardoned 80 fraudsters in a year. My God, that is one president who wants to completely stop fraud in the United States. But the reason why he, of course, pardoned those fraudsters were because their skin color was the right one. But then again, Trump is not a racist, but he's only interested in Somalis in Minnesota, but he's not interested in any other fraud in the United States, though. But he's not a racist. Don't call Trump a racist. Don't do that. No. That would be, I don't know, making shortcuts, maybe. Worry about your own country, comrade. Oh my God, is it time to play our national anthem? Stupid son of a bitch from the United States. Stephen. Oh, Stephen himself. Is it Stephen Miller himself? Stephen himself, you do. Yeah, like, I understand if you're from America and if you're a MAGA voter that you don't understand how global politics work. But if your asshat of a fucking dementic orangutan fucks up the world, it affects everyone. So that's why I'm talking about United States, because everything your fucking Mango Mussolini do affects global politics, affects the economy of the whole world. So if you want me to stop talking about the United States, you should go to the Capitol Hill, you should go to the White House or Mar-a-Lago or Epstein Island and tell Trump to shut the fuck up. Or even better, die of old age. I need to add that there because that sounded wrong. Hoping natural causes, yes, of course. This piece of shit said that we have no reason to go to war with Iraq, even though they killed my fellow service members when we went at war with them. Answer for the 230 fucking people that were killed. The Norwegian parliament had a field day laughing at Donald Trump. Don't give us any idea somebody here might act on it. That's why I needed to add, like, natural causes. Natural causes. Cray, thanks for the follow. You're in Ireland. What are they going to do to you? I mean, MAGA people and Christians are really fucking lunatics. I've received already like a few death threats. Because, like, well, one of them was from Elon Musk fanboy, but the other ones were like MAGA lunatics. So I've received death threats already, even though I'm just talking to above 100 people. Because they don't like to hear that they're in a cult. Otko suomalainen, yeah. European leaders have also done things wrong when their voices aren't heard. 100%. And I call out European leaders for doing shitty things. I literally just few weeks ago called out the Irish Prime Minister and the Irish Parliament because they were trying to push through a law that give landlords more power to decide rent prices in the middle of contracts, which is, of course, they've been lobbied by the landlords. So, and they are landlords themselves. So they want to be able to manipulate the prices however they want to. That is bullshit. And the next elections come, I'm 100% going to remind everybody how the Irish Parliament is fucking everybody over. But that's beside the point. What Irish fuckers do in the Parliament doesn't affect globally. But when United States Dementia Donald decides to open his mouth and threaten his allies or even, say anything, that affects the stock market, that affects global economics, that affects global politics 100%. So when I get Americans here to say that, well, why are you talking about American issues? Because you bring your bullshit into our world. Keep your bullshit in your bullshit, you know? If you're going to talk, at least give a good analysis. Oil is the dumbest conclusion you come to. I mean, Elmos, I don't understand like how you can't see oil, but Venezuela was all about oil. Iran is all about oil. You can easily Google who has the biggest fucking heavy crude oil reserves. And you see a pattern there. Why are they threatening Canada? Why are they threatening Iran? Why they attacked Nigeria? Why they made a really big deal with Nigeria after attacking them? They are making these holier-than-thou reasons, bullshit reasons, that we wanted to liberate the Venezuelans from a ruthless dictator, which is true, but then we're still their oil. Now they're doing the same thing. We're going to liberate the Iranian people who have suffered under the regime, which is a good thing, but then they add, and we're going to steal your oil. You know, if they just stop it there, like, okay, we're going to capture Maduro, Venezuela's take care of your land. Nope. They need to steal that fucking oil. Fucking thieves. That's what they are. That's a laugh. You're bringing your bullshit into our world. Venezuela's making more money on their oil and they have a half America's just rewinding. Venezuelans can decide who they fucking do business with and who they don't. It's none of United States business who they do business with. The same thing goes for Iran. We're not stealing anything. Yes, you are. You're deciding who the future leaders are. You're stealing their fucking independence even. What the fuck are you talking about? Trump literally just today said that they are going to decide who is going to be a favorable leader for the Iranians that are going to be favorable for United States and Israel. You're stealing their independence as well. It's not just you're going to steal their oil. You're also going to steal their freedom to decide who is going to be the leader of their country. Democracy, baby! We're not stealing nothing. They'll be independent. They'll have the right to vote. They'll have the right to vote. But if the result of the vote is wrong, it doesn't matter. We're not going to steal their oil. The White House literally said yesterday that the United States is going to take their oil. Don't you fuckers follow the news at all? Why are you coming to talk about this topic if you don't follow the news? If you don't listen to what your leaders are saying, what Trump is saying, you guys are literally giving me a fucking heart attack sometime. That's a lie. No, it's not. The news is bullshit. Okay, Scott Birkel. But that came from the White House, so are you saying White House is lying? Are you saying that Trump is lying? I can understand if you're saying Trump is lying. That is a possibility. Iran war is not about that, Elmos, and I have no praise for you anymore. Oh, I misread that actually. Sorry, Elmos, I misread that. No, it's half true. Americans want the oil. Israel wants the region. That is it. American wants the oil. Israel wants the region. And what your boss say? Bring more Islam in UK. I don't have a boss. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have a boss. Mars Days, thanks for the follow. We the citizens want peace. Everybody wants peace, but you're not gonna have independence. You might have elections, but you're not gonna decide who's gonna be the leader. If that leader isn't favorable for Israel and the United States, that leader is not gonna be the leader. So then your vote doesn't matter. And then you don't have freedom. So what do you have? Yeah, you might have peace, but you're technically a prisoner then. Oil is not the driving force in Iran. They have been an enemy for 50 years. We have debt. That is true, you do have debt. Iona, you do know that Islam doesn't have any legal legal rights there. They obey the same laws that everybody else obeys. What comes around, goes around, comes around. Trump thinks he owns the world. You literally said we attack Canada. That's a lot, so why are you pushing lies? I said that Canada is gonna be next, you idiot. Canada is the 4th largest crude oil reserves. That I said that's why you threaten Canada. If you don't know how to listen, I can't help you. Epstein Fury Wars. I'm not a huge fan of spammers, but that is hilarious, though. Theft is theft. This man's not wrong. Oil runs the world and Trump wants it. The only way that this isn't going to happen anymore, like in the future, is if we get like away from fossil fuels. Then oil doesn't have power. I always knew that resource wars are gonna come at some point, but I have to be honest. I was kind of surprised that Trump accelerated the resource wars this early. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever read. Listen to this from YouTube. It's not stealing when you're stupid. Fucking retard. That is one of the stupidest shit I've ever read. This guy must have had his fucking brains fucked out by his... What? We have some really cool characters in YouTube at the moment. Go fuck yourself, Patrick. Read Growing America Robbery if you want to see how we choose the wrong route. They want Iran for the oil thinner. The world is built on fossil fuels. It doesn't need to. Even though the world might be built by it, it doesn't mean we need to keep doing it. See the reality. Imagine if Iran would have... I mean, if Iran had nuclear weapons, United States and Israel wouldn't have attacked Iran. When Iranian and Venezuelan people were crying for help, why no one listened? I mean, Nepali people were crying for help, no one listened, so they took it upon themselves to make change. They pushed their government away, and now they had their first elections and first wins. The same happened in Bangladesh. The same happened in Sri Lanka, Peru. You don't see yourself crying over them, though, do you? Are you making a claim again that because people are celebrating, that it's a good thing? People are celebrating in Iraq that United States decided to intervene and kill Saddam. But what's happening in Iraq now? That's why yesterday I gave a bit of a crude speech about people who are claiming that just because people are dancing on the street and happy now, that this is a good thing. That's a horrible metric to measure if a thing is a good or a bad thing. Because of course people are happy initially, but years from now we will see what are the cause of it. And we have historical data proving that when people celebrate, for example in the Middle East, of liberators or Western countries helping them, the celebration is a bit premature, you know? Isn't it ironic they're doing everything to reverse to change the renewables? They've been doing, like, yeah. I mean, there's a reason for that. What the fuck, Moondog? There's a reason for that. They want to hold on. They want to hold on to the old ways so they can actually control. Renewable energy would be harder to control by stealing land, you know? So, a fucking country like United States, if oil is still the king and they own majority of the oil reserves of the world, they own the world. That's why renewables would be better. When it's all over, the Iranian people would still be rejoicing they'll be free. I mean, again, they're not gonna be free. What the fuck are you talking about? Latex Rule, thanks for the sub on Twitch. Iraqi cities aren't thriving. Iranians won't be free if they can't select their own leaders. That's not freedom. What the fuck are you talking about? If they can't even decide their own leader, that is not freedom. Have you watched any videos of Professor Xiang and his predictions? I think I saw one video of him. We can watch now one if you want to. We'll select them. Yeah, the United States will select them. What was his name? Professor Xiang. I think I saw like one or two of his videos. Don't remember where I saw them. Probably on TikTok. United States of pedos. I mean, we can just invent more and more nicknames here. You don't know anything. Eric, go and read a fucking history book. What regime change happens. And of course, I am repeating what Trump said. I am repeating what Trump said. Trump said today and yesterday that they will decide who are going to be the leaders in the future. It needs to be somebody that is favorable for the United States and somebody that's favorable for the Israeli government. That is what Trump said. Not me. I was just repeating what Trump said.
Felix, I brought dinner.
With the irresistible range of...
It's like Trump taking out the Pope and Trump picking the new one. I mean, Trump would probably pick himself as the Pope. Trump would come out like, yeah, the previous Pope was bad. There has never been a Pope like me. The best Pope ever. Some might even say better than Jesus. Already, Christianity numbers are going up about 1,500%. Eric, nothing's happened in Venezuela. Go fuck yourself. Some people was in the files now. So, some Pope was in the files. Yeah. New Supreme Leader just dropped projects. Check news. Oh, did we get a new Supreme Leader? Well, sorry, not us. Khamenei's son named as Iran new leader. Mojtaba Khamenei, the second son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been named as the Iran news leader. All right. That's 4 minutes ago. Let's make a bet here. We shouldn't bet on this. I think, okay, we can't bet because TikTok doesn't like gambling. But what do you think? How long will it take for Mojtaba Khamenei to explode with joy? Dead tonight. Okay. 4 months. Oh my god, 4 months. I think that's gonna be like, Alisa, you seem ignorant about the Middle East. What? What the fuck are you talking about? The only thing that you've been talking about is Iran having nuclear weapons, and that's about it. That's your only, like, participation in the conversation. I'll give him 6 hours. Oh, god damn. CP3D, thanks for the follow. Voting is a joke. All these parties are smoke and mirrors and to keep us arguing racism and different. That's why I've been recommending a clean slate to a lot of Western countries, because we are so fucking corrupt. And the only way that we can actually fight the corruption and make the politicians work for the citizens again would be to highly regulate and also banning all sorts of lobbying and corruption. If you're in politics, you should not take money from any interest group, like inside your country or foreign interest groups. You shouldn't try to make your family rich. You should work for the citizens of that country that you're in. If you can't do that, don't go into politics. And if you're in politics and you take money from outside sources like lobbyists, oil lobbyists, or external, from other countries, you should go to jail. Lobbying is just the beautiful word for corruption. That is the only way to actually make change. AIPAC, for example. AIPAC should be illegal. Forget your hair and concentrate on the comments. Fuck. Every 2 minutes, how does my hair look? What? How does my hair look? I know it's kind of hard for you to understand, but I do have a lot of hair and I like playing with my hair, so. Andy Collins 2.0, thanks for the follow. Iran mountain tunnel system is so vast. Crazy. Nice. You have a picture of Trump that doesn't even have own fucking hair. Your comments are Save America Act, Save America Act, Draft Harris season, MIGA, Make Iran Great Again, crazy. I think they should draft Baron Trump. New tax system to tax the billionaires. I do think so. Redistribution of wealth should be a good thing. Not affecting the middle class or the lower class, just the upper class. Netanyahu has dirt on Trump, that's why we are at war. This is BS. I have a video that what might be the reason why the United States is in Iran at the moment. If you don't like jokes or can't take jokes of your supreme leader, Donald Trump, I highly recommend closing the stream for a few seconds, but I do have a video of Netanyahu telling Trump what to do.
Oh, Donald, why haven't you attacked Iran yet? If you don't attack soon, I will release the Epstein files.
Okay, BB, I'll do whatever you want.
Oh, Donald.
Should we start saluting this too? I think so. I'm not saying that's true, but I mean, the voices sound similar. Some might say that's AI. I'm not 100% convinced. Another video to take away the focus of your hair. I mean, Tony, I have to applaud you how obsessed you are with of my hair. It's all about you and your hair. Look, listen to this. This is Tony 16117. Please, God, stop making it all about you. Everything revolves around what conditioner you use. It's all about you and your hair. Look at my hair, you shout. Every 2 minutes, how does my hair look under this light? Forget your hair and concentrate on the comments. Always going about how you now wrap your hair in towel for 20 minutes after a wash. Another video to take away the focus of your hair. Tony, I'm flattered that you find my hair to be your thing. Like, if you're sexually attracted to my hair, that's a good, like, applaud to you. Like, go ahead, have fun. I don't mind. It's your personal kink, if you like that sort of thing. Like, so I have to admit, Tony, that I have a wife, so I'm not really into that sort of thing, but I don't judge if that's your fetish. It's like men with long hair. All for them. Go for them. I'm actually one of the people who would applaud for that. Suomi, yeah. Tony needs to leave. Let us get along with the information. I mean, let's not judge. Let's not judge. Like, Tony might be actually just like, this is his fetish. Let me play with my hair a bit more. So it makes Tony happy. Okay, I'm off. I didn't come here to listen to how you found new organic hair products that add shine. How many times have I mentioned my hair today? Like, yesterday we had a conversation about, like, because people were asking about my hair and what shampoo I use. But today I don't think we had a conversation about my hair. It's a big vanity project for you. I don't enjoy talking about people dying. It's because of Trump. If he's not an AI bot, that's even weirder. Let me see his profile. He doesn't have any content though. Oh, that's sad. I would have wanted to see if I can follow you. We need to switch topic box. Okay, I'll switch topic box then. Maybe that's the thing that brought Tony here, is the topic box. Tony's love for my hair. Oh, there we go. What's this dude talking about? I'm talking about the most recent updates on the Iran war, which is Iran named their newest supreme leader, which is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's son. Okay, I'll change it back. Dead man walking. Yeah, like a lot of people were saying that it's not gonna be even like fucking hours. I'm gonna be surprised if I wake tomorrow morning and the new supreme leader is still alive. That's gonna be surprising. Why are you afraid to acknowledge facts that go against your opinion? Why are you opposed to your own safety and future prospects? What? Some are jealous because their marmalade cult leader needs a bird nest as hair. Sherry, thanks for the follow. I don't think the new Iranian leader will do that well, especially because Israel said that they're going to kill each and every one of them. Decapitation of government leads to decades of destabilization. Okay, calm down. Calm down. That's a bit drastic. That's a bit drastic. I am not in favor of execution, so like taking anyone's life. I think a small box in Antarctica would be the same, though. Like, I think that would be a better punishment for all the world leaders that are destabilizing the world, is to put them all like 2 by 2 by 2 boxes in Antarctica. Provide them 3 meals a day, so it's not cruel. And that's about it. Keep them few layers of clothing, and they're going to spend in those boxes the rest of their lives. That's not death. You're still providing them food. Although they need to live in their own shit and piss, but I don't care about that. Doesn't Iran have careful plans to avoid another decapitation? Well, they have a huge line of leaders to take place. So even if they just kill, I'm with you. As in talking out there. I know that causes a bit of a... So somebody said that Iraq is better now than before the Iraqi war. 40% of Iraqis believe the life is better now than before the Iraqi war, and 59% think it's worse. 1% didn't decide anything. In summary, Iraq is better in human development metrics and democratic frameworks, but worse in security, stability, and equitable prosperity. Progress has come at a tremendous human and economic price. The challenges like corruption and militia influence persist. Not the freedom they thought they would get. It's leaders like Iran, Putin, and oh my fucking god. So you're one of those MAGA cultists that don't see that Trump is actually destabilizing the world. Let's call him Mo. Mojtaba Khamenei is his name. Mojtaba. People can't imagine what it's like to actually be one of these countries. I have friends from Iran. I have friends from Iraq as well. Lebanon as well. I have a lot of Middle Eastern friends. And some of them has visited those countries, like within the last few years. And then, of course, I've had dinners with their families and so forth. So I have a pretty multicultural friend group. Of course, they have like Western sides themselves, so they don't feel that draw back to their home countries anymore. But they do visit them from time to time because like they still have relatives in those countries. But I'm not using that as that I would be an expert. That would be a stupid strawman to use. That doesn't make me an expert of those. We still have a lot of disagreements with them when it comes to like politics around it. Am I your friend? I mean, I don't know. Are you? People, how do we avoid a civil war in Iran? I think it requires a civil war. Like, not necessarily a civil war, a revolution. I think the people of Iran should rise up and not accept any help from USA or Israel. Do themselves. That's how change is made. They have strength in numbers. Facts are facts. Facts. I'm sorry, G. Monet. Facts are that Trump is doing more destabilizing work at the moment for the past year for global politics than Putin and Iran has for the past year. That is an objective fucking fact. You think that's not true? Trump's trade war with the whole fucking world. Trump's temper tantrums that he changes tariffs on a whim. Trump even has its own like economy in risk if they need to pay back those tariff monies to the companies. Trump is gambling the United States economy, which also will affect global economics. Trump starting regime change in Venezuela. Tensions regarding Greenland. Threatening allies. Threatening to remove himself from NATO. Letting the nuclear deal with Russia go old. How much do you need me to ramp up how much Trump is destabilizing the world? How much do you need proof that he's destabilizing the fucking world? That's called destabilizing the fucking world. He's even fucking his own farmers for the second time. He started a trade war with China, and that backfired on the farmers in the United States, and Trump needed to bail them out for $12 billion. The exact same bullshit he did in 2018. He started a trade war with China. He needed to bail out his farmers. He's done that twice. He's such a dumb fuck that he's repeating the same mistakes he did in his first term. That's how big of an idiot that guy is. Sorry for the rant, but oh my fucking, like, you must suck the ass fumes of Trump if you can't see what he's doing. That's not a stable leader. That's why a lot of European countries are now looking eastwards instead of United States. What Trump is doing for the United States as well. is creating that a lot of countries around the world can't trust the United States because of Trump. We also noticed that because when the tariff rulings came in, instead of Trump reverting them, he doubled down on the tariffs and changed the tariff amounts on the EU countries, which was against the contracts that the United States and EU had. So EU can't trust Trump to even abide his own contracts that he made. You can't trust the contracts that Trump provides you. Therefore, you can't trust what Trump says. Therefore, you can't trust the United States. And this has long-term consequences for the people of the United States, because other countries in the world are going to treat United States the same way we treat Russia at the moment. We are not going to be able to trust Russia 10 years from now, after Putin dies. The same is going to happen with the United States. You are one of the most dumb fucks that I've ever met in the chat. Yeah, again, to be fair, I don't care for most of the tariffs. Yeah, go fuck yourself and you'll get blocked. Oh my god. Oh, sorry about that rant. Trump let the nuclear the nuclear agreement with Russia go old just literally 2 months ago. So the first time ever, like in a long time, Russia and United States don't have an agreement on how many nukes to have. Trump also wants to restart testing nuclear weapons because he's an idiot. He's not providing healthcare. He's not making people of the United States better. He's just providing military more funding. He's starting new wars. So eventually, this is going to hit people of the United States so hard that they will realize that, oh my fucking god, I got fucked. That is not America first. That is Trump's lobbyist first. But he pretty cold curtains for the ballroom. Yeah, true. He has pretty cold curtains on the ballroom. Mexico. I'm not Mexican. It's America third. It's Trump's interest groups. Then it's Israel. Then it's the United States. Trump has a war going on in Iran. There's a lot of people dying. A lot of threats in the air. What did Trump do on a Sunday? Make a fucking wild guess. None of those money has arrived to the United States. He's claimed to made a lot of money for the United States. He's claimed that he has a lot of contracts for the United States. None of that money has realized yet. The debt is rising still. It's at 48 trillion at the moment. $38 trillion, sorry. It's at 38 trillion and it's expected to hit 40 trillion. Where are the $17 trillion worth of deals that Trump said that he had? Yeah, 38, sorry. My brain is getting cooked already for raging too much. But assets working with future interest, which, like, LM, that's the issue. If he fucks the world too much, countries are not going to go through with those deals. That's the issue there. Those deals were made before the fuckery that Trump started with Venezuela, now continuing with Iran. Next is going to be Cuba, and then Mexico after that. Those deals were made before that. And you think that when all of the consequences from these fuckeries hit those countries, the Gulf countries that made those deals, Saudi, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, they were already looking for force majeures to get out of some of those deals. They were already looking into force majeures to get out of those deals with the Western world, including the United States. Including the United States. Angela said, thanks for the follow. We will send him to the Europe, The Hague. I hope so. People will be celebrating. When Trump eventually passes on, people will be celebrating. And as we know from the past few months, when people celebrate on the streets, when people dance on the streets, that's a good thing because you got away from an evil dictator and an evil regime. So that's going to be the dream. Because that's the metric that we're using now. Because we don't consider anything objective. We just look at how many people are celebrating. If it's in the millions or hundreds of thousands, that's a good thing, right? Are you American? No, I'm not. That's a good thing as well. You're kind of obsessed with that. I can pretty much predict the next message you will have. Once the farmer's rednecks gets mad, he's done. I mean, midterms are gonna kill him. He's gonna do something wild if Republicans lose the midterms. Mark my words. Oil markets will open in 20 minutes. Oh, really? He's gonna do something really, really wild if and when Republicans lose the midterms. I am American, I voted for Trump, I can't stand what he's doing. I don't blame you, Sherry. Like, Trump is a good speaker. He's a former salesperson. As a former salesperson myself, one of the best traits of a salesperson is know how to exaggerate things. Sell you things you want to hear, you know. Unfortunately, I'm not a salesperson anymore. And also, I've gotten away from that. Did you predict Trump would win? Yes. In 2015, when Bernie Sanders wasn't the Democratic nominee and Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee, I predicted that Trump is going to win. You could have literally put anybody against Hillary Clinton. I think you could have just picked up, I don't know, Ted Cruz even would have won against Hillary. Anyone would have. Did you like Biden? No. Why would I? Wouldn't have voted for Kamala either. Obama's first term was okay, but the second term was horrible. That's about it. Yes, we know that you work for Nokia. Yeah. But back in 2015, this is something I've mentioned many times. I did predict that there is not going to be a Republican Party. I've mentioned this many times. And that is unfortunately true. There is no Republican Party anymore. Trump is a grifter. He's all about finding ways to grow his wealth. 100%. There is no Republican Party anymore. There's just MAGA. You're either with Trump or you're not in the party. That you can't call that a Republican Party anymore. That party is now Trump. I predicted that in 2015 because the signs were there. That's also what a lot of Republicans were saying, that we can't make this a clown show. So that's your fault why Nokia went bankrupt, 100%. No, you want to, Ellen, I think it's really widely documented, but the real reason why Nokia went bankrupt, oh my god, Angie86, thanks for the XXXL flowers. I've never seen a light show like that. I almost got blind. And I have glasses. Thanks a million. And thanks for the rose as well. And the Dems are controller positions, many taking AIPAC money. 100%. Like, the Senate that voted for the War Powers Act, that it would be taken to Congress, like 90% of them were paid by AIPAC. I think even from the Democrats, like something like 60-65% of Democrats are taking money from AIPAC. A good amount of Republicans are against him. That doesn't help Panda Pie, because if you're against openly, you're going to push the side. We've seen that happen. MAGA are already scared about midterms. They should be. 4 Dems voted with Republicans. Yeah, one of them were like Fetterman. And I can't really say that Fetterman is even a Democrat, you know? None of you are Iranian. Be quiet. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't need to be an Iranian to talk about things. That's such a fucking low IQ argument. Because you're not something, you can't talk about it. That's one of the stupidest, like, asserting to authority. Because you're not XYZ, you can't talk about topic XYZ. I didn't say I have an high IQ. I just said that that's a low IQ argument. It doesn't. That's why, like, Gilgamesh, I don't know if you have an ability to critically read news, but if something is said that this is not that, or that thing is like that, for example, that's a low IQ argument. It doesn't mean that I say I have an high IQ. I just said it, that specific argument is low IQ. Don't put words in my mouth. Only high IQ accuse others being low IQ. Again, like, why are you basing that, Gilgamesh? It's all about diversity. Teemu, thanks for the follow. What? And watch as they celebrate when they find out you're going down the tube. What are we talking about? What's wrong with having money to compete with Republicans? Well, as I've stated many times, there is nothing that huge that differentiates Democrats and Republicans because they're taking money from the same lobbyists. And when they get to power, they literally do absolutely nothing. We've seen that from Democrats from like a long time. There's a new breed of Democrats that are probably going to change that, but it will take time for the old guard to stand down. But there's a new breed of Democrats that are pushing change, which is a good thing. And I know that the old guard of Democrats are scared of them. Alice, are you a streamer only, or do you music now also? I do music as well. Not anymore as like enthusiastically as previously, but I do music as well. Your thoughts won't change anything. I hope my thoughts change things because I don't want anybody to be killed by anyone. I would want wealth to be redistributed more evenly. Not to tax the middle class and the lower class. Actually, like, make regulations that their 1% isn't as steeply high, different. There should be still something to aim for, but no human being needs $100 billion. Even no human being needs $100 million. Oh, here's the IQ test, Ronaldo, Messi. I'm a Barcelona fan. Have been since the 90s. So I have a bit of a bias. But if we go by numbers, Messi has a World Cup. Ronaldo has a European Cup. I think Ronaldo has scored more goals than Messi. So I'm just happy that I've been able to watch both of them compete. And as a Barcelona fan, I've seen them compete a lot in El Clasicos. But I would still say Messi. Nobody needs $100 million. You might want $100 million, but no one needs $100 million. They take advantage of former MSNBC watching Dems like me. No more, I will not support corporate Dem. 100% like, that's exactly, Angela SF, the corporate Democratic Party is the one that is still holding on to the old order. That needs to be abolished. That is too close to the Republican side. All the oil confiscation from Venezuela was put in an offshore account for Trump. Yeah. A Qatari bank account. Ironically. Tom San, thanks for the follow. No man became rich without making another man poor. Do you think nuclear weapons will be used against Iran in the near future? I mean, Israel kind of threatened it already. But I do hope that there's some young people listening that caring about your fellow citizens, your fellow humans, treating the same whoever you meet, having compassion, empathy, sympathy even, and also helping out where help is needed. I hope that latches out, and I hope like that courts win, because that's a lot of things we're missing. We have greed at the moment. Greed is the number one driving factor in human society, because you want everything for yourself and you don't really care about what's going on. Not saying as a blanket statement on everybody, but that is the capitalistic dream, is to, well, maximize your own gains, your own immediate family. Breaking news, Mojaba Khamenei chosen as is... Yeah, I already reported that. So greed is something that people should avoid as much as possible. Greed also makes it so that you're, again, easily manipulated. And one thing I want the youth to understand is the power that the people have is something that the people in power are afraid of. They are afraid that us in the chat and everywhere in the world, we are on the same boat. We need to unify instead of divide. That's, for example, in the United States, when you have the two-party system, it's easy to divide you both. You're either a blue or you're a red. You're left, you're right. Signing off. Thanks so much for your content. I appreciate knowledge from another country. Hey, Cherry, thanks for dropping by, and hopefully you have a great rest of the Sunday. But we do need unification more than division. They can take away everything, but don't let them take away your faith. And I need another 100 million to start countless universities to educate people in all countries. Many leaders know if they actually help their people, they'd allow less chaos and war. What's the update? Well, new supreme leader was chosen, and now it's just the clock is ticking. How long it's going to take until the supreme leader is no more? Unfortunately. Oh my God, it's already 10 o'clock. You know what time that is? That means that Sunday is over. Have they gotten their anti-air ready yet? No. No, they haven't. Maybe until the midterms. I don't think he's going to be alive until the midterms. I've read US is hiding true number of American casualties. Shocker. I also read that, but also I tried to investigate what are the true numbers of casualties, and it was really hard to find a number. I'll try my best to investigate a bit more, so I'll get a number for you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Before we end, we're wrapping up. Here's a bit of a info summary about the Iran war at the moment. In the chat, make a prediction. How many soldiers? Oh my God, what the hell is that? Laurie has stories. Thanks for sending positivity. Oh, sending positivity. Thanks a million. Joshua, thanks for the follow as well. Here's a bit of a summary for you guys. How many soldiers have died? About. All sides considered. Tenessa, thanks for the follow. Make a guess. Just a wild ballpark. Like how many soldiers about has been killed in the Iran war? All sides. Lebanon, Iran, United States, and Israel. 2000 is too high. Oh, thanks for the galaxy as well, Angie. Thanks a million for the galaxy. We're talking soldiers. Only soldiers. It's about 300 to 800 plus, a low number. And this is from 17 different sources. This is from 17 different sources. So less than 1,000. How many civilians have died? Approximately. Is it more or less compared to the soldiers. Do you think there's more civilian casualties or less civilian casualties? There's about 1,500 to 1,800 civilian casualties. So almost 2,000. So it's almost 1,000 more. Of course, this is something that's updated constantly, and we get more information from different resources and different sources. So these numbers are just a collection of those said 17 sources that I've used, which are from the United States, from Iran, from Lebanon, from Europe, from Israel. So it takes into consideration all of the sources from those countries that are affected and some outside of the affected zone. So that is about 60 to 70% of the casualties of Iran war are civilians. Out of those civilian casualties, the number of women and children is alarmingly high. Angela, I'll promise you to try and find more information about the US casualty numbers, but I did read. Lynn Lightwater, thanks for the S flowers as well. And I'll try and find the US casualty numbers. What news is actually truthful? That's why, for example, I've been not lobbying, but I've been recommending people to use the Iran Monitor to read for yourself. So the issue with this war is because we have Iran, which is known to use propaganda and lies and also willing to kill their own civilians and do false flag operations. Then we have Israel, who is also willing to lie and use propaganda and kill civilians, women and children. Then we have the United States, who has the worst track record in the history of Middle East when it comes to killing civilians using propaganda and lies. So we have three countries fighting at the moment, all willing to lie, all willing to use propaganda, and all willing to kill civilians their own and just kill each in general. So it is super hard to gather truthful information. That's why you need to have multiple sources. That's why I use IranMonitor.org. I am not affiliated with them, but IranMonitor.org gathers all the information for you to do your own research. So it has news outlets, social media from Israel, Iran, Lebanon, Iraq, Kuwait, Dubai, Qatar, United States, different European countries, India, all sources. And monthly over 30,000 Russian soldiers in Ukraine war. That is true. Israel is doing to Tehran what they did to Gaza. Is Al Jazeera good? Al Jazeera English is a good starting point because they have more journalists in the Middle East than anyone else. But you shouldn't take any one news source as gospel. You need to start at one point and cross-reference that news source to something else. I doubt that. So you're saying Russia losing 1K soldier daily. I mean, that's it's really hard because Russia doesn't really provide those information, and we can't, again, trust Ukraine's information wholly. But that is also from the United States intel stating that they have a monthly of 20 to 25 to 30,000 loss of life from the Russian soldiers. But that was, I think the number is a bit down now, but that used to be the number in the start of the year, January. Heard or not anything about China and Russia involvement? Well, Russia has been providing intel to Iran. It's already drone wars. Number of dying soldiers are very low now. That is true. Don't believe anything coming from United States. I mean, I would use that for every news source. Don't trust anything by default. Uncle June Bucks Sneeze, thanks for the follow. And China providing parts for repair and building. Yeah. Ron28, thanks for the follow as well. All of these leaders are all 70 and up. I think that's why this war should be decided by putting them all in a boxing ring and let them fight each other. Put every single world leader in a boxing ring. Or better yet, like a battle royale. Battle royale would be hilarious. Confirm Khomeini's son is elected. Khomeini's son is elected. That was reported already like an hour ago, I think. Iran names Khamenei's son as new supreme leader. This is coming from Radio Free Europe. Also MSN Now, Israeli Mayom, Middle East Monitor, Haaretz, which is an Israeli newspaper as well. Pakistan Today. There's a lot of sources providing that same information. Just beat Trump against Newsom, and I'll be happy. I mean, Newsom would just wreck Trump. That would be a fair fight, though. But Newsom would be orange. That would be the only... New Ayatollah is younger, Netanyahu is former soldier, and Trump is in a good shape. LM, I hope that was a joke. Like, oh yeah, Netanyahu is a former soldier, but Trump is not in a good shape. Trump is definitely not in a good shape. They are so old, could you imagine? I think they should put their kids to fight. Then the war would be over immediately. I'm a human, I would let the leaders fight in a video game to win. Are diapers allowed in boxing ring? They are not. Trump is a round shape. If the world leaders would need to send their kids to the front line, there would be no wars. Trump's kid, we lose. I mean, I have to say that Don Jr. is like high on cocaine all the time, so he might even have some Hulk superpowers because he abuses cocaine so much. This is, of course, satire, and this is, of course, a joke if somebody's getting offended by this. What would you do as a US president? Pull out from Middle East and negotiate with all the nuclear leaders that everybody would give up their nuclear weapons. I would push for universal healthcare in states that are similar size than the Nordic countries. Okay, listen here. This is my campaign speech. I would pull out from Middle East. I would actually retract all the support for Israel so they could be like a sovereign nation, so they could take care of themselves. I would negotiate with the nuclear powers that everybody would let go all of their nuclear weapons and get rid of them. Then I would go to the United States internal issues. So there's a lot of internal issues in the United States. One thing is like, for example, states like Colorado that has three times the GDP of Finland and similar size population, which is 5 million. I would talk to states the similar size to Nordic countries and trying to implement universal healthcare in those states. Because it is achievable, 100%. If you have 3 times the GDP of Finland and the same population, there should be no reason you don't have universal healthcare. I know Colorado almost has, but it's not completely. I would also not make enemies around the world, so I could drop the military spending from 1.5 trillion to, let's say, 200 million. Or even 200 billion, that would be so much less. I would literally chop the military spending to 20%. I would show my middle finger and ass to the military industrial complex. I would show my ass to them and say that go fuck yourself. Because if I don't make enemies around the world, if I make allies around the world, I don't need a military spending of 1.5 trillion. I would spend that money to help the homeless situation in the United States. Also low-income families would provide one thing that should be federal. One thing that should be a federal law is universal basic healthcare for children. That should be across the 50 states. Are you scared of World War III? 100%. Like, who wouldn't be? I don't know if I would get selected in the United States. I would probably get assassinated in the United States if I of course, I can't be the president of the United States because I'm not American. But let's play the hypothetical that I was American. I was like on the ballot, I would get assassinated 100%. Well, we all have guns in the United States. About that. I think Finland has one of the highest guns per capita. So if you think Finland is a gun-free country, that is incorrect. But we have really strict gun laws in Finland. I would also implement those gun laws in the United States, which is mainly for hunting, some for sports, not for self-protection. No, you would be called a communist. That is true, because people don't know what a communist is. Gun lobby is very strong. That is true. But because I would be making lobbying and accepting money from interest groups like NRA and also like AIPAC illegal, NRA would not have the same power if I was there, because I would make that illegal. No politician could get lobbying money from NRA anymore. NRA. Yeah, NRA. Yeah. Are you worried about Russia? Yeah. I'd vote for you. That's good. Because inherently, having twice the amount of 2.5 times the gun amount that you have in the United States, guns are high profit. That is true. US says Iran is crippled, yet Iran is threatening ships causing gas. I mean, it's the Schrödinger's Iran, you know. It's Schrödinger's Iran. At the same time, they are a threat, and at the same time, they are not a threat. At the same time, we destroyed their nuclear capabilities, and at the same time, they have nukes. So we need to attack them. And do you know what I would also do as a president? One of the first executive orders I would do as a president would be to sign an executive order that no president should have any party allegiance to any party, ever again. Presidents should be completely independent. Thank you, I have spoken. Do you want me to elaborate why that would be a thing? That would be checks and balances. If you have an independent president that's getting high on power or drunk on power, the political parties would keep the president in check. Also, there would be the justice system where the president is completely independent. President should have no relations with the justice department at all. Are you happy in your own country? 100%. Ireland is beautiful. Do you know the true casualty amount in Iran at the moment? I like the independent president idea. For the Iran war, it's around 2,000, just below 2,000. Oh, no, sorry. I have the numbers somewhere. Around 2,000 to 2,700, about. But if you calculate the revolution together with that, then it would be around 7,000, 8,000, because there was a lot of people killed in the revolution, the protests. Make long hair great again. Oh yeah, one more executive order if I was the president of the United States. I would make it so that religion shouldn't be in politics. I know United States is a bit of a hot topic to have that conversation, but I do believe that religion should be a personal thing for yourself and not something that is pushed for politics, because religion enables you to justify your actions because you say that God is giving you permission to do things, or you're doing God's will. And that's a horrible way of doing politics. Tax the church, 100%. Did you see them all praying over the orange man? I did. I was horrified. I think that's an alarming thing. I'm an atheist, but I do understand why people might need religion for their own personal reasons, whether it's fearing death or the beyond or whatever the reason is. But that should always be your personal thing. I have nothing against any religion. and it should only be your personal thing. Immediately when you're starting to inflict your own beliefs, your religious beliefs on another person or a group of people, for example, in politics and such, that's where I have an issue. If you're starting a holy war because you're acting on the name of your God, yeah, that person is horrible, and that's why religion should be like kept away from that. If you're saying that you're acting on your prophet or your God and you're doing horrible acts, yeah, that's a good reason to keep that like out of power. Religion should be 100% only a personal thing. That's, for example, like I'm writing your name on my back. That's for example, the dollar has one sentence. What is that? I wipe my ass with the Constitution. No, doesn't it have like something like "in God we trust" or something as corny? The US is a country of God. But that's the issue, because God doesn't exist. So instead, the USA is the country of the citizens of the United States. In God we trust, yeah. So USA, which is a stolen land, isn't a country of God. Because a lot of the original people of the United States were actually pagans, so not a good at all. They believed in different spirits than you guys. That was added later on. Founders were deists. Yeah, but that's like you're making a scapegoat. You're making a backdoor for you to do horrible things based on religion. They were the landowners, elitists, really. But for example, like that's why it's easy for me to say to people like, it's none of my business who you love, how you identify, any of that. It's your personal thing, and if that makes you happy, I'm all for that. I want people to be happy. It's your personal thing, and I have my personal. I have a wife, and I love my wife, and I have 2 kids. That's my personal thing. It's none of my business who you love. I just want people to be able to love who they want to, identify who they want to, be who they want to. You know? Love is love. Easy as that. And again, I want to emphasize that a Christian said that I'm poison, based on my beliefs. I've had my Muslim friends say I'm poison as well. But that was because, like, we were talking about Charlie Hebdo, the cartoonist that were assassinated and their office was bombed. Buddhism. There's faults in Buddhism as well. Angie, thanks for the flower show. Who do you think has been the best president for USA? We had this conversation like not that long ago. I would have loved to say JFK, but JFK had mafia relations. So it's hard to say it's JFK because JFK was kind of in the back pocket of mafia. Teddy Roosevelt is a good candidate though. And George Washington would also be one, but George Washington unfortunately also has a bit of like skeletons in his closet. Jimmy Carter was okay. I would probably still say like, I don't know, JFK probably. JFK tried to abolish Federal Reserve. Even though, JFK was anti-union, though. That's kind of an annoying thing. So JFK didn't like the unions. And I'm a union rep, previous union rep, so. First term of Obama was really good, but the second term of Obama wasn't that good. Jimmy Carter was I would say like Jimmy Carter was okay. Teddy Roosevelt was okay as well, and I can tell you that neither of the George Bushes were good. That's not even like in my top 10. Am I overlooking somebody? Not Truman. No, I think it's probably one of those. The other Roosevelt. I was thinking of that Lyndon Johnson, if Vietnam doesn't count. There's a issue with Lyndon Johnson though, because like JFK fought against the Federal Reserve and Lyndon Johnson reverted that decision. So Lyndon Johnson decided not to push for abolishment of the Federal Reserve. So that's why I'm kind of salty when it comes to Lyndon Johnson. But then again, Lyndon Johnson was better to the unions. So that's a bit of a like, if I could mix JFK and Lyndon Johnson together, that would be perfect. Andrew Jackson was a bit crazy. Nixon is the GOAT. Abraham Lincoln was a good one. Like, there's been good. This dude is Alicia. Yeah, that's my username. That's my username. You have an issue with my username. I don't know if you know this, but people have different usernames on the online that like, what are their names? That is not my real name. That is my wife's second name. But usually it's a good conversation starter. Johnson was racist, among other things. Andrew Jackson murdered a lot of my ancestors. I'm gonna now go against my union side, and I'm gonna say JFK. I don't know history. Was Washington a president? Washington was a president, but unfortunately Washington was also a slave owner. So that's a bit of a... Like, don't get me wrong, being the first president and also general, who was a really important part of the war. But Washington was a slave owner as well, so kind of goes against him. JFK wanted to get rid of Federal Reserve. Yeah, JFK wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Almost succeeded before, his term ended a bit too early. On that one fateful day in Dallas. In Dallas, Texas. He should have not used a convertible. He should have had a roof there. Unions were a little corrupt in the 50s and 60s. They were. But the unions have done a lot of good things for the working class. They did a lot of good things. I think that's part of why he was unalived. I mean, he was pushing back to the mob because he didn't want to abolish the gambling laws in Cuba. There were so many things that JFK did that the mafia wasn't happy about. They are and were lacking in integrity and the morality, especially within their marriages. Was JFK Italian? He might have some Italian roots, but I know that he was involved with the Italian mafia as well. JFK was Irish. Oh, really? How was your punk rock concert? It was really good. It was fun. I saw a lot of like upcoming bands and I had a good time. I'm a bit old though, so when it takes a few hours and you need to headbang and jump around, like, I'm not that young anymore. I'm turning 37 really soon. We're gonna have a long birthday stream on the 22nd. I'm turning 37, so. Victor, thanks for the follow. Okay, I think we're gonna choose JFK. That's one of I can admit that that's one of my biggest faults is I don't memorize people's nationalities. Hey Angie, thanks for the hand heart. Because I don't really look at those things. I've explained this like in the past as well in the stream. Like when I meet new people, I don't ask the first question like, where are you from? Because that doesn't really matter for me. Because I'm gonna treat you the same way I treat everybody else. So my brain also works like that. I'm horrible at remembering nationalities. And JFK was first Catholic president hated by the Protestants. 37 is young. I feel so old. Lena Law, thanks for the follow. We are indoctrinated in the US to be tribal. It's not a good thing sometimes. And I'm really happy to see that my daughters are also picking up that way of like treating everybody the same. Very important to American that and religion. I was told in Europe that I looked Norman, and I had no idea what that meant. Oh, that means that like from either Norway or French Normandy, which is kind of the same because the Norwegian Vikings took over Normandy. Well, not took over, but there was a Viking king in France in Normandy. So if you're called a Norman, that would mean Norsemen, or that could mean that you're from Normandy, which is also the same thing because Norsemen are from the north. I was watching all your taste test videos and I swear I didn't unfollow you. I don't know what happened. It's Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison really doesn't like me. So I think it's that. LJ promoted many laws that improve the rights of blacks. That is true. Did Iran respond to Trump's ban yet? Nope. Everybody's just like in Iran pledging their allegiance to the new Ayatollah. And a lot of Western moderate right-wingers are going to be unhappy to wake up to this news because they said that the son of Ayatollah is not going to be the replacement. Do you regret Finland joining NATO? No, like I've stated my opinion about NATO many times. Like I have been against NATO like since I've started following Finnish politics. But once Russia attacked Ukraine, I was also for joining NATO. I'm still against NATO, but I understand why Finland joined NATO. You know, I understand it. Where in Scandinavia are you? Finland, but Finland is not in Scandinavia. The son is, yeah, I've read the same thing that Moshtaba Khamenei, which is the son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is more brutal than the former Ali Khamenei. I learned Soviet foreign policy from an Estonian. Estonians would be a really good source of like Soviet foreign policy. Another one would be Latvia. If you ever meet a Latvian person, like an older one, they will tell you some interesting stories about Soviet times. Heard the son. Thank you for that info. I had no idea what my feature were. Trump is going crazy than I expected. I mean, he's one-upping himself every fucking week. The better Iran succeeds in war, the more certain a nuclear weapon will be used. That's going to be an interesting time on history. I wonder how that goes. How does Iran choose their leader? There's 2 leaders in Iran. There's the supreme. I know there's 3 leaders because there's the supreme leader, then there's the judge, and then there's the president. So they have a normal government as well, but then they have the supreme leader, and then they have the judge who is appointed by the supreme leader, who are like deciding the laws and everything. Olavi was my best professor. Yes, I have a relative from Riga. He has crazy stories. Oh yeah, 100%. I met a few people from Latvia, and those stories from the Soviet times are freaking wild. Nothing brutal about Khamenei. I mean, there's brutal about Khamenei. Pahlavi isn't the saint either. Like, well, Pahlavi's father, yeah. They're like, it's not a good regime to replace another regime. Iran has elections, but they're only for like presidential elections. Christy Samplix, thanks for the follow. Dementia Dawn. Do we have a Dementia Dawn user here? Oh yeah, we do. No, what? Yeah, they do have a vote. It feels like USA is cashing again. I mean, if they get the oil, that's a lot of money. War in the Ukraine, UAE, and the Middle East, and all you care about. I need a new hair dry. Hey, Tony's back. No one was talking about hair. We were talking about the new Ayatollah. And Tony's back. What's up, Tony? I knew you couldn't stay away because you love me. That's nice. I love you too, Tony. That's... we literally for the past hour, we've been talking about... Yay, Tony, come on. Well, for the past hour, we've been talking about me becoming the US president, which is impossible because I'm not American. And then about the new supreme leader of Iran. And now, Tony's back. Where were you, Tony? Did you have fun? I think that's fine. Christina MC, thanks for the follow. Hey, Angie, thanks for the hat and mustache as well. That looked American. I love that had a mustache like gift the most because I don't know why it's so funny. Every 2 minutes he's checking out his hair in the mirror. I don't fucking have a mirror. Oh, thanks for another hat and mustache. I have a monitor there. I have my camera there. I have another camera there with another monitor there. I have my huge monitor here, which is a 43-inch. So if you're looking at where I'm watching all the time, I have 3 monitors that I'm watching. And also, the stream chat is here, like the TikTok chat. Then I have the YouTube next to it. I have Twitch next to it. And then I have Facebook on this screen. So if you're seeing that I'm looking in different places, I have different screens that I'm looking at. History after 1945. Oh, I got another hat mustache. Thanks, Angie. And also remodeling. Thanks for the rose as well. What do you do for a living, if I may ask? A really boring answer, actually. I work for a big AI company. I know it's kind of paradoxical because like I'm against the data centers because they're not the world's best for the climate and the environment. But it is an easy job to do and it pays a lot of money. Angie, thanks for the hat and mustache again. And I can work at home and I can spend more time with my kids. And I am responsible for quality for... How would I say this without giving too much about? 3 of the biggest locales when it comes to internet. User-wise. I'm responsible for that. Wait a second, what the fuck did I lie? Yeah, I'm just responsible for like improving quality and like better the quality. He starts to say Iran and then he said I ran the warm water today and bathed my hair. Okay, that's good. Climate is a lie. How can you believe it? I mean, Theodore, I hope that phrase paid. Theodore, thanks for the follow. But like, climate exists whether or not you believe it or not. It's just like gravity. Angie, thanks for the tofu. Like, climate is the same as gravity. If you decide not to believe it, that's your own decision to do that. It still exists. Gravity, climate, those don't require you to believe in them for them to be. You know, they are just there. Whether you like them or not, they are there. But only Europe does climate politics. It's all the industrial psyop. No, it's not, Theodore. Like, you should actually see how much renewable energy is in India and in China. You might be surprised. I can tell you, it's way more than a lot of people know. Never trust those in power. Thanks for the follow. For example, when Trump said that India doesn't have any wind farms or doesn't use wind energy, that was one of the biggest lies ever because... No, not India, China. Because China has the most wind energy of anyone, by far. they don't do ocean wind and hydrogen. China does have both. They have the most onshore wind farms and offshore. They have also the newest technology. Those wind turbines that don't require propellers are fucking interesting as hell. They're literally just like balloons floating up in the air that has turbines that don't take any space. That is one of the most interesting innovations for the past 10 years. They literally take no space. China exports 80% of all solar and wind companies in the world. Yeah, that's a good business. Because more and more people are going to transfer to them. How it even works. To be fair, it was a prototype, and they used it in few like locations. I don't speak Chinese, so it was really hard to translate. I should probably use AI for that because I work with AI. I can check how that works. They make giant code generation constant. They literally, Theodore, this is not a conspiracy theory. They have the most wind energy of anyone. And renewables. If you choose not to believe that, that is your own thing. But again, climate is still a thing, whether you believe it or not. Climate change isn't a hoax. The Chinese also made that Zeppelin-like wind plant. Exact, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Josodlaka one. That's the one I'm talking about. That Zeppelin-like wind farm. What is that? Thanks for the microphone heart guitar. We do self-destruction climate political. That's stupid. Forty to 42% of China's energy comes from renewables. And consider how big China is. There was a study that showed that from renewables only, China could provide the whole energy need of Europe. From renewables only. That's how much renewable energy China has. That they could provide electricity for the whole Europe. That's how much renewable energy they have. And they are increasing it more and more. I have inside information of India because I know a lot of people in India. And of course I read Hindustan Times and I read Navraba Times and other like The Hindu, for example, Indian newspapers. So India is also ramping up renewables, which is smart. Latex Drool, thanks for the heart guitar as well. Fly away, far away, thanks for the follow. Hullu piripää, nice. How much is nuclear? Nuclear is a nice green energy. I think nuclear is way better than fossil fuels. Nuclear is better for the climate. Hoax is a legitimate term used frequently. That doesn't mean it like if you say hoax and witch hunt, find a new term. The idea of it isn't a hoax, but that we can't do anything about it. Nuclear waste, like you might want to investigate on the Finnish nuclear waste storage. That's one of the best in the world. That was invented in 2020, if I remember correctly. Angie, thanks for the had a mustache again. It's called Ongalo, cave in Finnish. And it was prepared in finished in 2020. And it's one of the most high-tech versions of storing nuclear waste. And of course, there's scientists around the world trying to figure out how to reuse nuclear waste, which would make it completely reusable. That's why science is so important, and we shouldn't like push back on nuclear energy, because it is a green energy form, way better than fossil fuels, and also way safer for the climate and the Earth itself. I know, Theodore. I know also because I used to vote for a Green Party, but I was super mad when the German Green Party literally tanked the nuclear programs that Germany had. That is an issue even amongst the groups that I used to hang around. And that's why I kind of got away from the Green Party, is because they trying to hold back development and evolution. China doesn't care about hippies and only care about China's interest. That's a weird statement. I'm not saying that China is some sort of a fucking utopia that everybody should like aim for. China has re-education camps for Uyghur Muslims. They've also treated Taiwanese and Hong Kong people in Hong Kong and Tibet really horribly. There's a lot of bad things happening in China. China is also not like, if you're going to say that China lives in some sort of a bubble, that is not true. China also does business with energy, selling energy to nearby countries. Also does business, a lot of business globally. If the waste could be used for transportation, like, that's the thing. I hope that the science advances. There were some advances already when it comes to like nuclear waste, but at the moment we're just figuring ways to store it. Then it goes to, you know, recirculation and everything. NATO supports Israel. All great power politics is evil. I mean, I'm not in favor of Israel. I have nothing against the people of Israel or the main religion there, but I'm not a huge fan of their government. What do you think about people ordering from Temu, Shine? I mean, they have the freedom to do that if they want to. It's also, Temu is a kind of, and Shine is kind of interesting because in China, they go around the copyright laws. So there might be some copyrighted infringement, like material. I don't order from them myself, but I can't really force anybody else to, because it's not illegal. I use a lot of secondhand shops myself, and I don't really consume that much when it comes to like stuff, you know. If I buy, for example, furniture, they're made from real wood, usually from locals. For example, when we lived in Finland, we had like a proper wooden furniture made out of like material from Finland or other Nordic countries, or even like, I think our table was made in Germany, from Germany wood, from a Germany company based in Germany. So they usually cost a bit more, but I don't need to use Temu for anything. But I'm not going to condemn anyone to use, because I know how expensive everything is. Anyone who attends school is an academic. Fancy way of saying you can read. What? Hey, don't fight in the chat. Hate on me, not each other. I think Europe deindustrialized because of lack of sovereignty and climate politics. No, that is a completely incorrect statement there. The reason why Europe at the moment is getting fucked is because they accepted the lobbying money from fossil fuel companies as truth for far too long, and they didn't do the switch to renewables fast enough and thoroughly enough. German wood in Finland. Okay, Alan. Now this is another topic. I'm a fucking cheap son of a bitch. I don't like spending money at all because I come from a poor family. My wife, on the other hand, she saw, because she used to work for a design company that provided those handmade products from Nordic countries and European countries. So in one of her trips, she noticed a material made in Germany of like thick wood, and she liked that, so she decided to order that. And I'm not too happy about that. So that table was because of my wife, not me. And also I heard the price afterwards, not before. She used my card though. But we're still married. I was kind of worried though. I understand why she did that behind my back, because I would have never accepted that. So where do you live now? I live in Ireland. Like, my argument is always the same. Like, you can buy a table to eat on with 50 euros, 60 euros. But that's not good enough for my wife. The same thing is like, my t-shirts cost like 1, 2, 3, like maximum 10 euros, not even more than that. Usually I buy like a bulk t-shirt. I don't want to spend money on needless stuff. USA destroyed European industry. They forced to compete with Chinese slave labor. No, like, for example, when it comes to a lot of fossil fuel companies and a lot of, like, for example, auto industry is an interesting one, because all like Ford and General Motors and the car companies were lobbying against electric cars for so fucking long. Ballack shirt, Michael Ballack? No, Bulk. I used to have a Michael Ballack shirt from like Germany. Did you hear the US sent the E6B Mercury to the... Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Not again. Hey guys, it's almost 11. I was already supposed to go to sleep like an hour ago. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. I was supposed to go to sleep already an hour ago. Now I'm going to do the normal thanking. So thanks everyone for joining and keeping me company and having a good conversation. And we can continue everything tomorrow. And let's see what happens tomorrow morning. I have a work day. I work 9 to 5. So, well, actually 8 to 4. But thank you and good luck with AI. Kiitos. Kiitos. Have a great rest of the day. Rest of the Sunday. Happy Women's Day. For all the women in the chat. Almost forgot. Happy Women's Day. I didn't forget for my women, because I have 3 women in my life. I have my wife and my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter. So I did remember them, but I almost forgot you guys, even though we had a conversation for the whole evening. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. Good night. See you guys.